Hello everybody, this is David with the Liberty Guys. Today's video, or the first one of today, I got two subjects, so I'm probably going to do two separate videos into two separate subjects. But the first subject is, I shot a video not long ago about an FBI document of domestic terrorism, and it listed something they called sovereign citizens in it, and described them pretty blatantly by name. And I caught a pretty good bit of flack over it. So what I've done is I've done a little digging. And it prompted me to do proper research instead of just reading the document online and shooting a video and calling it good. What I found out was that there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. It's impossible to be that. You can be a sovereign or you can be a citizen, but you can't be both. Now, you can use the, what do they call it, the corporate contracted person of a citizen to your advantage from time to time. But if you're a citizen, you belong to the government. To where if you're sovereign, you belong to yourself. God is the only person or the only thing you answer to. God's not a person. I learned what a person is. There's two legal definitions for a person from what I found. They have a language in court that's very similar to English, but all the words have different meanings. So on this little short journey that I've been on, I have learned a lot about the whole sovereign idea. And basically it goes all the way back to when we decided we didn't want to be subjects of King George anymore. When they wrote the Declaration of Independence, that was the first document declaring ourselves sovereign. And then when they wrote the Constitution, after, I guess, the people that were running the Confederate States of America, or the operating under the Articles of Confederation, decided they wanted to do things differently, which, if you think about it in all reality, the Articles of Confederation were probably a better document because it left true sovereignty to the states individually. You didn't have this centralized government entity that would take over and run things. But more than likely by now you'd have had 50 sovereign entities that would have been trying to run you 50 different ways. The only good thing about that would have been you could have, if you didn't like the way Georgia did things, you could go to Tennessee. If you didn't like the way Tennessee did things, go to that Utah, which you can kind of do that now, but you're still under the umbrella of the corporate entity, the United States of America. And now, it's really weird how I went all these years of my life and had not heard a peep about this whole idea. But now that I've been exposed to it, it's very interesting reading. There's no good reason for someone to not investigate what's going on with the sovereign idea. All they're doing, the people that are presenting themselves as sovereigns, all they're doing is utilizing what's already there. Now, the key is knowing how. Unfortunately, I don't know how. I haven't studied law, and since the government was smart and took civics out of public education, starting in somewhere around 1850, they started phasing out civics, which was the study of your rights, not the government's, and started inserting a class called government, teaching you about the government's rights. And it takes generations for some of this stuff to take effect. It's incredible the timeline that the government's willing to work on. It just boggles my mind that people actually work on this. It just boggles the mind. But yeah, I want to apologize to the sovereigns. It was a mistake on my part. I didn't mean to call you a citizen. I apologize for that. And all the people that want to be citizens, believe it or not, there's some that want to be citizens. I'm sorry for calling you sovereign. Okay. I just didn't. I was ignorant and didn't understand what I was doing, basically. But if you look at the way the FBI document that I brought up in that other video, the way it's presented, they see the sovereign as a direct threat to them because they're the government, and the government wants absolute control. And the sovereign is a big stumbling block to that goal. So they have to figure out a way of getting the sovereign out of the way. The easiest way, label them a freaking terrorist. I see their point now. It all became so very clear when I started doing just a little bit of research. But what we need to do is everybody needs to educate themselves on how the system works and how your laws apply, how the law applies. So there's all these kinds of law. I didn't know all this until just recently. There's common law, which is what a sovereign falls under, which basically says if a jury of your peers, which would be a group of sovereigns, decides that your law that you created, because the sovereign creates his own law, and he follows God's law. The Ten Commandments applies to everybody. And so, but if you can convince a jury of sovereigns that your suit is valid, then they award you judgment. Pretty simple. A judge in a courtroom is nothing more than a mediator. He don't decide anything. And it's incredible, the information that is available, just there for the taking. But the courts want to operate under something called admiralty law, from what I can understand, and it plays by different rules, basically rules that benefit the government. So, if you ever notice, when you walk into a courtroom, the first thing out of the chute is it's 2-on-1. The judge works for the government, and so does the prosecutor. Or, that's if in a government suit, say you were in some kind of sort of traffic infraction, you have to go to traffic court, as they call it, where they're just going to basically try and extort money out of you. This situation is already stacked against you if you go along with it. But that's if you accept the contract. You need to look that up. But yeah, your birth certificate is a contract. It's a corporate contract, from what I understand. It's still a little fuzzy to me, and I'm doing the best I can to decode it. As it's complicated because, as one of the guys said in a video I watched, you ever notice that the government calls their laws codes? It's because they want them to be mysterious. It's coded. It made sense to me when they said that, But the whole thing, it's opened my eyes, and I'm still studying. Like I said, I've got a lot to learn. But I don't, unfortunately, I don't feel comfortable trying to utilize the sovereign status yet, even though I feel like I am one. Until I learn enough to where I can actually use the information that I know, then I'm unfortunately just pretty much at the mercy of the corporate government. So, that's where I am right now with that. But the whole scenario that the FBI is trying to label sovereigns as domestic terrorists it's obvious. They need the people to not want to be a sovereign, because if you ever get them to not be a sovereign, now they're a subject or a citizen. And the 14th Amendment in the Constitution defines the only item other than treason with a definition. The whole Constitution is written with only two definitions: treason and what a citizen is. And it says it very clearly. You have to be, in the 14th Amendment, it says that they defined a citizen as a person born or naturalized of the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Notice they didn't say you will be subject to the jurisdiction. They say you have to be subject to the jurisdiction. So if you're sovereign, you're not subject to it. So it don't apply to you. It's incredible. You need to look it up. what you need to do is do like me and start learning a little bit about law and how it's written, and understand that they've been pulling the wool over your eyes all this time. It's incredible. It's just an amazing ride I've been on since I've done that video. That it's kind of an awakening. I'm kind of glad. Now some of the guys that posted on there, they got a little carried away, and they didn't need to use the profanity in their posts and stuff, but it did awaken me, so I know to look. But yeah, y'all need to look that up. Just Google it. Search it on YouTube. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. Um, and don't take the information that you see in the video and just try and straight use it. You need to research it first to make sure it's accurate before you go into the courtroom and make yourself a fool. See, that's the key. Is learn what they're talking about, then go utilize it. Well, I got company, so y'all have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye bye.